Hi, Paula. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Els. Hi.
Okay, what's the today's topic?
Well, today we are doing part two of bringing the principles into the group process. Last time we spoke about, as the facilitator, you're sort of the example or the role model of you know, walking the talk of the principles. And today we're sort of talking more about the tools side of things. So how do we use them in the group? How do we bring them in? um, to the group process. So for me, as a group, we start off by reading the principles. We all take turns. Usually, I'm on Zoom, so I'll screen share them, and people take turns reading, one after the other. And then after that, we'll check in using the principles. So we'll read the principles, then the guidelines, and then check in. And I um, I just asked them, is there a principle that you'd like to share that spoke to you as we read them out, because when we read them, or sometimes you hear someone else reading the principle, um, yeah, it touches you or something comes up. It's like, oh yeah, gosh, I can relate to that one this week. Or that's one I need to work on, So it's nice to share that. Maybe that you're turning up to the meeting and you're feeling quite tired um and you can relate to one of these particular principles, so you'll share it. Um yeah, so that's one thing that I'll do. And another one in the main share, when we get to that, I could use one as a prompt. And I actually did that today in my group. I used your book, and the principle that I focused on was principle one. Um, the essence of our being is love. And I used a couple of questions from your book. In whose company do you forget that the essence of your being is love? And what exactly happens to cause you to forget this? And it really worked well. The share, it just, even afterwards, the women in my group spoke about how it just, yeah, it was like, I don't know, they just couldn't believe how much it related to what was going on in their lives lately. So it was a really easy share for them to come up with and relate to situations that had been happening in their lives. So it worked really well. And sometimes after a main share, there might be time left in the support group meeting. So I'll have an extra round. And a way to do what I've done here is I've brought in the principle, is I've just asked people, as as we're finishing up, to share a principle that they would like to take with them to make perhaps work on during the week. A principle that they feel that could help them this week got moving forward. So yeah, so that's how I use the mouse. What about yourself?
Yeah. Well, we, of course, in the group read the principles also at the start of the group. And when a group comes together already quite a long time, I sometimes say we don't use the text, we just try to bring them as a group up from yeah, our remembering. What's the where do we start with? Yes, the essence of our being is love. Okay, the next one. Who knows the next one? And also with the guidelines, and that's fun. That's really fun because all together it's possible to know them all together without text. It's lovely. That is a way. And when we get used to the principles and guidelines, they accompany us in daily
Mhm.
life. So when we are in a shop and something happens, mostly we or I immediately remember a principle that is usable in the situation where I'm in. So that's the beautiful thing of reading the principles and guidelines every time when we start a group. What we did, at least here in the Netherlands, is we made these cards, or we made drawings of every principle. And this is, for example, principle one. And we can use them in a live group, of course, when we are together. and everybody can take a card from the stack, and then we have the principle you have picked from the stack that gets a question, and the question is it can always be the same, but when you say how can this principle be helpful in your daily life, and it's very important to add this daily life, because when you say how can this principle be helpful, um, you can go in a mind story, and but when you ask how is this helpful in your daily life, do you have an example, then it's immediately to what happens, how it practically can be helpful. What I saw was that one of the facilitators here in the Netherlands had make questions on a paper and glued them on the backside of the card. So you have different questions done on all the cards, or every first question was the same. How can this principle be helpful in your daily life? And the second question was a question that related to that specific principle. So that's very helpful. And of course, you always can say in the group what is the principle that would help you the best right this way in your daily life. So that's another way of bringing in the principles. Which principle, you already said it, can you take with you? Can you practice next week or next 14 days? So that are there are a lot of ways to bring in the principles, of course. Of course, you can, when you sit in a group and you take, for example, you can speak 3 minutes about this principle, and you have the timer, 3 minutes, and you go to the next one and the next one and the next one. It's can be helpful to make this round and make it yeah, that people speak very direct. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, a lot of uh, ways to bring in the principle, and this is uh, the most direct way of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you do the 3 minutes, Els, is that talking about what they know of the principles or relating it to something in their daily life,
It's
like you said?
always relating, always to daily
Yes.
life
Yeah. Yeah.
relating,
Yeah. Yeah.
because this mental talking about the
No.
principle, it doesn't really helps me
No.
to
No.
use it in daily life, because attitudinal healing is about using it in daily life.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you can do sometimes around and speaking more, what does it say in the big picture, the principle, of course, and you
Yes.
can, what is the English word? Philosoph,
Philosophical.
yeah, you can be philosophical about the word, about the principle, and that's nice too, also.
Yeah.
But you can do that once in a while. But
Yeah.
I would say when you ask for how can a principle be helpful, it's always related to daily life, because
Yes. Yeah.
being philosophical, there we go again,
Philosophical.
being a philosophical,
Of the mind. Just
that is all always talking about we or you can be, you can use it in this way and you can use it in that way, and talking for me in daily life, it's a I story.
I.
And
Yeah.
that is, well, that maybe when you speak about it in that way, you can remember it when it is necessary, right on spot, when you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Very helpful.
do you want to things to say more?
No, no, it's just very helpful. I like the idea of cards and using them like an oracle deck, maybe,
Yes,
where you
yes,
pick one out and
exactly.
go with it.
Yes.
Yeah, great
Okay.
idea.
Good.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you, Paula. See you next time. Bye
See you
bye.
next time. Bye.